Setting up camera angles here. Ooh-wee, ooh-wee. Oh no! She spilled the salt. Don't worry, doggo. It's all right. What's up, y'all? Come join me for tiny yoga. Oh, Ajna. Dog is already very excited about class. I challenge you guys. I challenge all of you to match dog's excitement. What do we? Solar plexus, sacral chakra. Sacral. I have, boy, do I have a yoga flow for you. Yeah, we're gonna do a little bit of strength building today. Most of the poses, it's a 30-minute gentle flow for everybody in every space, so we're not gonna get too complex, and there's always modifications available. What am I looking for? That's what I'm looking for. But we're going to mostly focus on the root chakra and sacral chakra and strengthening the solar plexus and opening the heart center. Mostly focus on 4 different chakras. But most of the flow is grounding, and we're going to do some heart opening as well. Mixing in some grounding and heart opening, mostly touching into the sacral area and the heart. Now, where's my fire? Anybody seen my fire? Who stole my lighter? It's okay, I got matches. I'm not really behind this morning. I'm just on my own schedule. How are you guys? How is your Friday shaping up? Oh, we only need 1 match. I woke up with a red sky this morning, and there is a saying that I grew up with, living on the ocean, living in places that are on the ocean and being on the ocean a lot. I always grew up with the saying, red sky at night, sailor's delight. Red in the morning, sailor's warning. Because typically a red sky in the morning often means that there is going to be rain or poor weather following later in the day. So, this morning was a red sky, and I'm really hoping that we get some rain. Good morning, everyone. Come on and find yourself a spot to be for tiny yoga. All you need is a place to put your butt. You don't need a fancy mat. You don't even need a fancy chair. It can be the edge of your bed. It can be a park bench. It can be the front seat of your car. Now, if you're in the front seat of your car, you're going to need to probably swing your feet out the front door so that you can actually do some of these movements. But ultimately, this class was built for practicing yoga in limited space, whether it be limited external space, like living in an RV, or just having a micro-size apartment, or just being in the front of your car, or being in your cubicle at office, right, at work, or having limited mobility within the confines of your meat bag, right? So whether it's limited space because of my body or limited space because of the external space that I am in, this class is meant for modifications. This class is meant to be a exploration of our inner cosmos while also still engaging with and warming into our bodies. Remember that for this class and every other class, we do not create a battle within ourselves. We do not create an enemy of ourselves. We like to meet ourselves with at least curiosity and compassion if we can muster it, right? So again, this is a 30-minute flow for everybody in every space. Ajna, I'm not going to let you chew up a toy right here on the floor. So you can either go outside or you can get your llama. Where's your llama? That's not a llama. That's a Frisbee. And you're chewing it up. It's not. No. Do you need to go outside? No, I don't need you. I don't need your paw on my face. Okay. I'll put you outside. I'll put you outside. You don't have to sit in here for the floor. You don't have to sit in here for the floor. Come on. Okay. Would you like to come back in? No? Okay. Be a good dog. Okay. If he starts chirping, I'm going to have to let him back in. Okay. Let me see if I can get you guys over there on YouTube and Instagram a little bit more room without just destroying everything I have on this table. Let's see what we got. Hold on. Sorry about all the movement. All my notes and things. Okay. There we go. I'm already out of breath, y'all. I haven't even done yoga yet. This is off to a great start. Okay. Just the setup sometimes. Just the setup sometimes. Okay. Think we're good? Think we're good? Dang. This camera over here does not want to see clearly. Instagram, how are you doing over there? That's not bad. All right. I'll just have to pause in the middle of the flow if it gets too bright in here, and then we'll close that up. So, no. I don't have perfect lighting. What am I gonna say? What are we gonna do about it? Right? Instagram, you can't even see me. Okay. Just a little bit of setup this morning. Give you extra time to find yourself some water, or grab your tea, or find a comfy spot to put your butt. Where's my coffee, speaking of? Okay. We now have, hi everyone, sorry if I missed any comments, I'm all getting myself set up here. Thanks for all the likes and the follows and the love. Dang, Instagram, why is your camera, why is the angle on Instagram so narrow? Hold on a minute. Is that actually how it shows up on the live? Thanks, guys, for your patience. I am just getting all the platforms set up here. And Instagram is really lagging. This is why we don't like you, Instagram. This is one of the reasons we don't like you. So you don't just like jump in line. Come on, get with the program. Get with the program. YouTube's doing great. TikTok's doing great. So we have no more Kriya, for me at least. So you guys won't see our 10 a.m. every morning, and we're just going to be doing our 30-minute flow with our mudra for the week. Again, I apologize ahead of time. I cannot read the comments very well from afar. There's one. Come on, Instagram, be instant, right, Leb? Yeah. Hey, Eric. Good morning, Deb. Good morning, everyone. Okay, so again, for those of you who are new here, hello. My name is Reverend Deborah. I'm an interfaith minister, a movement facilitator, and your shenanigan shaman. And this is Tiny Yoga. A 30-minute gentle flow for everybody and every space. Especially limited external space or limited mobility, limited internal space. So today's flow I'm really excited about. We've been working with the Nirvana Mudra this week. You just got home? Woohoo! I'm glad you've safely arrived back from all of your adventures. I was just thinking about you yesterday, and I was going to text you, be like, how long are you going to be up there? Okay, so we've been working with our Nirvana Mudra this week. The Nirvana Mudra, we will close our practice with the Nirvana Mudra. We'll sit with it for 5 minutes at the end. Hey guys, good morning. And the Nirvana Mudra is the mudra that awakens the heart of compassion. The mudra weakens ego clinging, which I think we could all use a little bit of. And it also reduces selfish desires in our spiritual practices. So when it comes to doing something like a yoga flow sort of thing, right? We got a 30-minute flow here, and we're going to put some effort into that flow. We're going to address our root chakra by grounding into the root. We're going to create a good bit of movement and flexibility in our joints. So we're going to be addressing the sacral chakra. We're going to be working on a little bit of core strength, just a little bit of core strength and leg strength. So grounding, again, strengthening the root and strengthening the solar plexus. We'll do some twists for some heart openers, some cat-cow heart openers. We will put all this effort in for these 30 minutes, and then we will close for 5 minutes with this mudra as a means of dedicating the effort that we put in up for the well-being of all, right? This mudra offers everything. It's called dedicating the merit, the energy, the effort, the outcome that comes from the practices that I engage in. Instead of them being a selfish thing of like, oh, I want to strengthen my core, I want to clarify my system. Yes, those things are things that you receive. But ultimately, instead of focusing on those, we focus on getting through, being with the process, and then offering up the merit to the collective. Because ultimately, everything that I do inside of me also affects and benefits the collective, or is a detriment to the collective. So we like to use this mudra to scoop up all of our bits of practice and then offer it up to the collective. So that's how we will end our practice today. If you want to engage in a 30-minute gentle flow that you will benefit from, and then also that will benefit the collective, because when we do our internal work of self-actualization, of clarifying our system, not only do we clear the pathway for others to do so, but we model the practices. Right? We model the process. And in being brazen enough to live in self-actualization, we inspire others to do so for themselves. Right? Right. Yay! I like to inspire others. Let's do more of that. All right. Hey, can you tell I've already had my coffee? I woke up again early this morning. All right. As usual, I put my flows together every morning, so we're going to move our way through this. We're going to do a little bit of neck strengthening as well. I forgot to mention that. I have some bulging discs and things in my neck, so we are going to start working on that more regularly today. We're going to do that with some isometric neck exercises. So, my friends, if you are tired of hearing me chatter away about this class and want to actually get into the practice, then find yourself a place to put your butt. You can be on the edge of your bed, it can be a bench, it can be a chair. Try not to have too rolly of a chair unless you got somewhere to stabilize yourself. But anywhere you can put your butt, go ahead and find the edge of your seat. Don't slide off, just the edge of your seat. Bring your knees to a 90-degree angle so that the ankles, the knees are stacked right on top of the ankles. Ground the feet. And we're going to take 3 deep breaths to sink into our posture here. Knees shoulder width apart. Close your eyes and let's begin by inhaling the breath through the lungs and all the way into the belly. And sigh it out. Inhale again, expanding the rib cage in all directions, front, sides, and back. Exhale to let it go. Inhale again, this time lifting the heart and lifting through the top of the head to elongate the spine. Exhale, melting the shoulder blades down the back, gently tuck the chin. Shake the elbows, wiggle the elbows a little bit, keeping those arms loosey-goosey. Give the torso and the hips a little bit of a shake, even into your knees. Kind of shake all the way down your legs and then ground those feet. Press into the ground with your right big toe and release. Press into the ground with your left big toe and release. Press into the ground with your right pinky toe and release. Press into the ground with your left pinky toe and release. It's okay if you can't isolate them. The intention is more important. Go ahead and press into the ground with your right heel. Release. Press into the ground with your left heel. Release. Roll both feet around the outside of the feet ever so slightly. Not a huge movement, just rolling around the outside, across the toes, over the ball of the foot, around to the inside, over the bridge, and around the heel. A couple times, just intentionally. We're not making a big movement here. We're just bringing intention to the grounding and feeling into all parts of the feet as you roll over the toes and the ball and around again to the bridge and back to the heel. Couple more times, making this little rotation around the bottom of the feet. Go ahead and switch directions now. Again, going from the toes to the outside of the feet, to the heels, to the bridge, the inside, over the toes and the ball, the outside of the foot, the heels, the bridge. Bring them back to centered and press both feet intentionally into the ground. And release. We're going to move up to the knees, gently dropping the knees back and forth for windshield wiper. Windshield wiper the knees, start to get some movement in the ankles. Go ahead and let the feet roll over side to side, moving the ankle just a little bit here. Then center the feet again, and we're going to lift toes up, heels up. Drop the heels, toes up. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, toes up. Inhale, heels up. Exhale, toes up. Extend the arms. We're going to match the hands this time. Inhale, heels up. Hands pressed forward. Palms pressed forward. Fingers nice and open. Extending the wrist, pulling the fingers back toward the shoulders. Inhale, exhale, drop the heels, lift the toes, drop the palms in, keep the fingers nice and wide. Inhale, heels up, palms out. Exhale, toes up, palms in. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, and release. Just drop the arms into the lap, and we're going to lift the hips, lifting up one side and the other. Lifting back and forth, one side and then the other. We're just lifting our butt cheeks off the seat, back and forth, off the seat. Warming up the low back, warming up the hips, come back to center. Sweep your right arm up overhead and bend to the left for a nice side stretch in the right. Inhale, exhale, gaze past your armpit up towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Inhale once more. Exhale to release. Other side, sweep the left arm up overhead and open the left side body for a nice stretch. Inhale. Exhale, gaze up past the elbow, past the armpit, and breathe. Inhale again. Exhale to release. We're going to sweep the arms up. So extend the arms out in front of you, down towards your knees, and then we're going to sweep them up towards the right. Extend your right arm out behind you, reaching back behind you. Keep your nose pointed forward. Allow the left hand to reach over towards your shoulder. Now we're going to sweep down towards the knees, extending both arms up the other direction. Left arm extending out all the way, reaching behind you. Right hand to your left shoulder, keeping your face forward, nose pointed forward. Swing back and forth a couple of times, nice and slow. Bring intention to this movement. We're not just haphazardly swinging our arms back and forth. Make sure you're not smacking anybody nearby you. Just back and forth, warming into the shoulders. This feels really nice. If you can get that back arm extended and get into the shoulder blades on the back. A couple more. Go ahead and release the arms. Hey, let them hang down beside your legs. Shake them out and then squeeze them up towards your ears, nice and tight. Inhale, exhale, shoulder drop. Inhale, drop. Inhale. 2 more. Leaving the arms hanging by your sides. Inhale the chin up and exhale the chin down. Inhale up, exhale down. Remember here, we're not looking for overextension. We're just looking for where our edge is today. If you've got neck issues like I do, it's really important to evaluate how much space you have available. So take your time here, finding your edge, not pushing the edge, finding the edge. Come back to neutral. Again, check in with those shoulders, keep those arms loosey-goosey, and we're gonna inhale. Exhale, drop the ear to one shoulder. Inhale back up. Nice long spine. Exhale, drop the ear to the other shoulder. Inhale back up. A couple more times. Remember, you're just finding your edge. We're not seeking pops, crackles, and snaps. I know they happen. But we're just inviting. We're just being present. We're just flowing with wherever our body is this morning. Come back to neutral. Go ahead and drop the chin and do a couple of neck rolls in one direction. Again, just respecting your edges, noticing where things might be out of alignment or need a little bit of extra compassion today. Go ahead and switch directions. Keep that nice long spine, shoulders relaxed, arms hanging by the sides. Come back to neutral. And now bring whichever hand it works for you. You can use your right or your left. Press it to your forehead. So this is an isometric exercise that's meant to strengthen the muscles here. What you'll do in this exercise is to put pressure on your forehead. You're not trying to push yourself back. Find a nice balance where you're putting intentional pressure and resisting that pressure with the muscles in your neck. This helps to strengthen them. And we're just going to hold for a count of 5 and release. So again, you're just resisting the pushback by holding the muscles, by holding your neck, holding your head where it is. Go ahead and press for a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Hand to the right side. Same thing. Press and resist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Release. Hand on the back of the head. Same thing. Pressing the hand in and resist the movement with the muscles of the neck. Press for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Left side. Press and resist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Relax. Pause. Let the muscles of the neck, muscles of the shoulders relax. Go ahead and slide your palms up your thighs to your knees. I guess down your thighs. Down your thighs to your knees. And we're going to move into little cat-cows first, and we're going to slowly expand the movement. So inhaling, lifting the chin, sending the chest forward, gently tucking the hips just back a little bit as if you're going to waggle your little tail. Inhale forward. Exhale, tuck the chin, roll the shoulders, tuck the tailbone just a little bit. Inhale out, lifting the chin, chest forward a little bit deeper now. Exhale back a little bit deeper. Inhale forward, opening wider now. Exhale back, curling even more, deeper. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Full extension now, getting your entire spine moving. Inhale, exhale. Make sure you're tipping those hips. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale back. And return to neutral. Interlace your fingers in front of you. Hi, Bill. Press them up towards the ceiling. Extend the arms again. Keep nice long neck, nice long spine, lifting through the top of the head. So yes, your shoulders are coming up, but you don't want to close your ears here. You're reaching up, pressing the palms up. Nice long spine, keeping room, space between your shoulders and your ears. Inhale. Side bend to one side. Exhale. Inhale back up. Exhale, other side. Inhale back up. We're going to go again into one side and then the other. Exhale back down. Side stretch a little deeper. Inhale up. Exhale the other side. Inhale up. Now, as you exhale, turn the torso, shoulders, head, and all toward one side. As you turn, keep your knees shoulder width apart, parallel. Yeah, shoulder width apart. Twist the entire upper body to wherever it stops. Once it stops, open the arms, the front hand reaching to the outside of the front knee, to the back arm behind you. Inhale here to lengthen the spine. Exhale to gaze over the shoulder. Deep breaths here. Inhale. Create space. Exhale a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale, slowly come out. We don't want to slingshot ourselves out of that, so take your time. Interlace your fingers again, pressing the palms forward. Reaching up, exhale, twist to the right, the entire torso, everything you've got without putting pressure, just all the twist that you have. Exhale to open the arms. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, turn deeper into the twist, gazing over that back shoulder. Deep breath here. Inhale again. Exhale, slowly come back out. Okay, here's my favorite part of our little flow here. Checking on the time. We're good. We started at 15 minutes, so we've still got a little bit of time here. All right, so you can interlace your fingers. Hey guys, how are you doing? Interlace your fingers underneath. Okay, excuse me. You have two options here. You can interlace your fingers underneath your right thigh and extend the foot out. If you would like a little bit more strength building, then do not interlace the fingers under here, and you can just put them on your hips or you can hold on to your chair. Here we're going to flex and point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, point. One more flex, and then slowly release the heel to the floor, slowly, with intention. Don't drop that thing like a hammer. Intention. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, tiptoe your fingers down your leg wherever is available to you. Again, we're not pushing past our edges here. I want you to find your edge and then breathe more space into it. So get into your forward fold wherever is available to you. Then inhale to create a little space. Come out. And exhale right back down. See if you can kiss your knee. If not, just talk sweetly to your knee for a few breaths here. Good morning, knee. Thank you so much for keeping me mobile. Thank you for letting me run and jump and play. Inhale. This time, as you inhale, keep your left hand on the extended leg. Now your right leg. Inhale the right hand all the way across the arm, across the chest, and reach up behind you for another twist. Deep breath. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale back down into your fold. Inhale to slowly roll up. As you roll all the way up, bring the knee up with you and hug it to the chest. Inhale to lengthen the spine. Exhale to kiss your knee in case you didn't get to before. Inhale to lengthen the spine again. Exhale, flex your right foot and cross it over your left knee, allowing the right knee to drop open. Take your time here again, respecting your edges, saying hello to any tension you find in your body and meeting it with curiosity and compassion rather than judgment. You can stay seated upright here. If you would like to work your way down into a forward fold, feel free to do so. I like to go all the way down here and leave my knee or my leg underneath my shoulders here, underneath at my chest. So inhale. Exhale, just to let that right knee fall open in whatever position you are in. Breathe. Inhale, slowly roll up. Exhale, bring the knee back up to the chest, squeeze it. And then we're going to do just a couple of hip rotations. So take that right knee and do a couple of circles, rotating it out, down, in, back up. A couple in one direction. And then not drop the knee, place the foot open for a second, and then lift it back up and switch your direction. So now it's up and in, down and out. Up and in, down and out. Place that right foot back down to the earth. Give yourself some hip lifts. Find your seat again. And we're going to go ahead and move on to the left knee. So again, you can support your knee by interlacing your fingers, or your leg by interlacing your fingers underneath your left leg. Otherwise, go ahead and extend the left leg for a point. Flex, point, flex. Nice long spine. Point, flex, point, flex, point, flex, and slowly lower down without dropping it. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, walk your fingers all the way down as far as is available to you in your forward fold. If you can kiss your knee, please do so. Your knee deserves your love, and if not, just whisper sweetly to your knee. Hello, left knee. Thank you. I know you have trouble some days, but today you're doing really good, so thanks so much. Yeah, you're doing great. Next, inhale, keeping your right arm on your extended leg, on the left leg. Inhale to drag your left hand across the right arm, across your chest, and lean back into your twist, opening up nice and wide, gazing up towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Inhale. Exhale back into your forward fold. Inhale to slowly roll up. Bring that left knee with you and hug it to the chest. Inhale. Exhale to kiss your knee. Inhale back up. Flex that left foot. And exhale to cross the left ankle over the right knee, allowing the left knee to fall open. Again, you can just stay here, spine extended, or you can lean forward as far as is available to you to deepen this stretch. Breathing to just allow more space with each breath in that left hip. Wherever you are, nice long spine. Inhale, roll back up. Exhale, lifting the knee, pointing the toe, moving into external rotation. So again, rolling, bringing the knee out, down, and then in, back towards the other knee, and up and around. Couple of rotations here, external rotations, down, up, and around, down, up, and out. Nice long spine when you're getting into the rotation here. Again, place your toes to the ground on the outside and back up, in, down, and out. Opposite direction. Back to neutral. Pause here for a moment. Let me get a doggo. What are you doing? Come on. Come on. Come on. You leave them alone. Whatever they're doing, leave them alone. Come on. Good boy. Come on, Harrison. Okay, lay down. Okay. All right. After a moment of rest, go ahead and scooch your boot all the way to the edge again of your seat. If you have a side of your chair, you're going to want the side of your chair or the side of your bed or the side of your bench. If you don't have one, this is just going to be a smaller motion for you. If you have room underneath your chair, that will work as well. We're going to do little cactus and crunch flow. So we're going to start with the right side. Go ahead and bring your hips to shoulder width apart at the edge of your seat. Thank you guys so much. Okay. Ground out again. Sorry, I had to leave and come back, so I got to reground again. So we're going to do this flow like so. Bring your arms together in front of you, palms together. Lift the knee. This will be your exhale. Then you'll inhale. Opening cactus arms, bending a little bit into a back bend and lifting or pushing that foot back. Here, let me switch sides so you guys can see it. Pushing that foot back for an extension in the spine here, right? So you've got your left leg pointed, knee bent, and you want to reach that back as if you're trying to touch your butt with it. If you can try to touch your head with it. Nice full back bend on that one side. Then exhale, bring the elbows together, knee up, crunch. Inhale, open and back, crunch. Okay, so I'm going to start on the right side. Just wanted to give you guys the show. Okay, ground out again, feet shoulder width apart. Bring those arms up to cactus. Make sure your elbows are bent at a 90-degree angle. Bicep is parallel to the ground. Upper arm is parallel to the ground. Fingers nice and extended, palms facing forward. Inhale, go ahead and point that toe. Exhale, bring your arms together, closing the cactus arms, squeezing the knee up towards the chest. Inhale, open the arms back, bend, send that knee back. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Crunch. Open. Crunch. Open. Crunch. Open. Crunch. Open. And go ahead and release. I exhaled when I was inhaling and that got really confusing. Go ahead and wiggle yourself off to the other side. We're going to go for the other side now. Sorry, doggo. Yeah, I need the space. Come over here. Thank you. Sit. Thank you. Okay, ground out, knees shoulder width apart. And we're going to go for the other side. So bring the arms up to cactus again. Parallel to the ground, arms parallel to the ground. 90-degree angle in the elbows, palms forward, fingers extended. Exhale. Bring the arms together. Lift your knee. Inhale, open and send that knee back. Try to touch your butt with your toes. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale, crunch. Inhale, open. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Go ahead and release. Come back to the center of your chair. Find the edge. This time, bring the feet together. Bring the knees together. Sorry, doggo. And rest the arms for just a moment. Let the arms hang. You can wiggle your elbows if you need to. Let your hands rest in your lap or down beside you. Again, just pause for a minute. Notice the sensations in your body and give your body a moment to release any tension created. We're going to put a little bit more effort into our flow today before we dedicate it to the collective, okay? We're going to move into chair pose. And in chair pose, all I want you to do is to see how long you can stay there. And when the voice inside of you says, oh, I don't think I can do this, encourage it. Egg it on. Come on, you got one more. Just come on, we can do it for a couple more breaths, See if you can get yourself to go just a little tiny bit further past that boundary. We haven't been pushing boundaries pretty much at all during this class except for right here. This is where I encourage you to gently and lovingly encourage yourself to stay the course through the practice, okay? All right, so for chair pose, again, knees together, feet together, butt at the edge of your seat. Lengthen your spine and allow your arms to hang beside your hips. You're going to lean forward, sweep them up, almost touching the ground if you can, and we're going to lift off the chair into chair pose. So go ahead and lean forward. Inhale, big sweep as you lift off the chair and down into the best chair pose that you can muster. Go ahead and breathe. It helps to find a focal point in front of you. Remember, just like when we were doing our Kriya, you want to see if you can find tiny bits of space. If tension starts to build in the thighs, tip the hips. If tension starts to build in the arms, move the shoulders just a little bit. Reach out from your fingertips. Reach down into the ground with your heels, rooting yourself strong, steady like a tree. Keep breathing here, nice and deep in chair. Gaze up towards your hands. If you're starting to get a little tense here, breathe. Keep breathing. Sit your weight back into your heels for a count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently release to your chair. Gently release to your chair. Find the edge. I almost missed the edge of my seat. Go ahead and let your knees fall open, bringing the bottoms of your feet together. And you can lean back into your chair if you have a back available. If not, just lean all the way back on your bed. Relax the head, and for a moment, let everything go. Just be. Let the tension created by the practice unravel from your muscles. Let the tension ease out of your breath. Relax. If you'd like to stay here because you're done and don't want to add anything else, feel free to stay right where you are. If you would like to join me in dedicating the effort, the merit, the outcome of our practice up for collective well-being, for the spiritual benefit of all beings, then I invite you to join me for this mudra. For this mudra, you will want to be seated upright. We actually have to curl into the mudra a little bit. So we're going to hold it for 5 minutes because it takes about 5 minutes for energy to circulate in the body. Now remember, this mudra is the Nirvana Mudra. The Nirvana Mudra weakens ego clinging, which we could all use a little bit of. It opens the heart, awakens the heart of compassion. Still settling my breath. And it's a way to dedicate, right, our effort, our energy, because all of our practice ultimately are for the spiritual benefit of all beings. And thus, this mudra weakens our ego clinging, selfish desires in the way of our spiritual practices. So this mudra is done like so. You can extend both arms out. Bring your palms to face each other, crossing your right hand over your left. Interlace all your fingers together except your pointer and your thumb. Keep those two extended as you use those two to scoop up the energy of your practice. Bringing the mudra in, bringing the thumbs together, and placing the two extended pointer fingers up to the third eye. If this is not available to you and you would like to dedicate the merit of your practice anyway and connect with the collective, then you can also just do the Sahasrara Mudra, the mudra for the crown chakra, like so, and just place it overhead. You can hold it overhead or you can hold it directly in front of the third eye. Whatever works for you, resting your thumbs on the top of your head or on your brow. That will do as a alternative to this, but if you want the full benefit, sending this directly to the collective, dedicating the merit for the spiritual benefit of all beings, go ahead and scoop your practice up. Again, one more time, right hand over left, palms together, keeping everything, interlacing all the fingers except for your index and your thumb. Scoop those up your center to collect all the effort. Thumbs together, pointer fingers at the brow. This one has a mantra. I will sing the mantra as we sit for our 5 minutes. If you know the mantra, feel free to join me for it. If not, you can always just listen in or even hum along. 5 minutes begins right now. Focus on your breath. Focus on the connection between your index fingers and your brow, between the mudra and the brow. Focus on your tip of your nose or your belly button, whatever works for you to keep your attention in the here and now, or focus on the mantra. samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka 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 samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Go ahead and release your mudra. Lengthen the spine. Lift the heart. And again, just pause to notice the sensations generated by the practice, vibration generated by the mantra. Finally, when you're ready to close your practice, bring your palms together into prayer or simply lay one over the other over your heart in gratitude for today's practice, in gratitude for the prana, the life force that is always flowing through the path of least resistance to bring each of us to our highest good, our highest truth in every moment. In gratitude for the opportunity to share my practice and the merits of it with the collective, for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Offer yourself gratitude for taking the time for self-care today too. The collective doesn't benefit and you don't benefit if you do not take that time for self-care. So I'm really proud of you today. And thank you for joining me and cultivating this CAYA space where we can learn and grow and thrive together. When you're ready to come out of your practice, I encourage you to do so slowly. Offer yourself wiggles, offer yourself stretches, whatever you need to come back into this reality if you decide to do so. If you so choose. The choice is yours. You guys were busy in the chat. You guys were so busy chatting away. Hi guys. You're very welcome, Lily. Okay, so everybody remember that there are replays to these classes over on YouTube. I am Move with Change on YouTube. So every Friday at 10 a.m., I come online live on TikTok, YouTube, and usually Instagram on Fridays for chair yoga. Starting in November, we are going to, at about 11:30, move into our Discord space to offer a full mat flow version of the 30-minute gentle chair flow that we do. So that'll be a new thing for me. It's really exciting because I get to shift everything right from chair to mat. So that's exciting. I like that. But that's not starting until November. So you'll need to join our Discord for that. Remember, classes are always free, whether I'm live here or giving classes in the Discord. And we are going to be having more and more classes in our Discord. So if you would like to get in on those classes, I encourage you to go join the Discord. Again, it's free to join the Discord. In this space, information is free. My time and the things that I create, some of those things I do charge for. But besides that, expect to get all your questions answered as long as I can get to them. Not really all, you know what I mean? Anyway, let me sit my butt down. Replays are on YouTube. That's the important thing. I Move with Change on YouTube. And Discord is where we will do the extra fun things. So come join us there. The link to join, that's it. The link to join my Discord is on my Patreon page. I'm Move with Change on Patreon too. I am Move with Change on Linktree. I have all kinds of links and all kinds of things on both of those pages, Linktree and Patreon. The best way to get into the Discord is one of those pages. On Patreon, we also have membership levels too, in case you want to, just support the work that I do. I'm very grateful for it. You guys keep the internet on. If you would like to join us in group coaching, which happens on Saturdays after our live class, then you'll need a membership level for that. If you would like private coaching, I do offer that, but I offer limited spaces for that. So all of that's available on Patreon. I don't talk much about it here because TikTok gives me restrictions for undisclosed marketing and random shit like that. So if you'd like to engage more with the content, if you'd like to get more content and more classes and more interaction, come join us in the Discord. Yeah. I'm grateful you guys are here. I'm glad that it hit home for folks. Josh, you're interested in some of the terms I'm using. Which terms would you like defined, my friend? Josh, you're interested to realize how you view when this calm meditation intersects with the pain of the world. Really good question, right? Because sometimes it seems like a frivolous thing to just work on self-care when the world is suffering. And we have often been taught that if someone else is suffering, we should engage in suffering as well, to somehow make them feel better or somehow support them or heal them through engaging in our own suffering. When in reality, wow, shit falling off my shelves is confirmation, I guess. Everything we experience in the world ultimately occurs within us. Now, that's a big reach when we're talking about global suffering, right? But ultimately, what we're talking about is the idea that if I touch a thing, the only way I experience the thing is by the way it feels in my hand. If I hear a thing, the only way I hear that sound is by the way that it vibrates inside of my ear and my eardrum and the little hairs and the cochlear and all that stuff, right? The only way I taste something, the only way I see something is by it occurring within my system. And so if we operate from that understanding, hey, beautiful, thank you, friend. If we operate from that understanding, then we also recognize that our ability to affect the world has to be seeded from inside of us. If everything I experience ultimately happens inside of me and it creates the perception of what's going on outside of me, then my first and foremost bit of work or focus is in myself, aligning myself, clarifying myself, making sure that my intentions and my beliefs are really aligned with my truth. What is my truth? And are the layers of myself causing me discord or dis-ease because they need my attention? Remember that when we talk about healing ourselves, we sometimes think about going into the past or trying to affect the future or trying to access some time that is not now. But the reality is everything that you need to heal, everything from your past that's still unhealed or imbalanced is here with you right now. As we said at the very beginning of practice when we were talking about this mudra, ultimately, when we do the work within ourselves to find that unconditional love, to learn patience and forgiveness and how to value ourselves, we change the world by doing that. Because first, we change our experience of the world, so therefore it changes how we interact with the world. And when we change those things, we then begin to model a different way to interact with the world, and we inspire others to do the same. Carmen, that's beautiful. A year ago, you were offered chemo to heal. I chose to let my body do it on its own, and today I'm feeling so good. There is so much healing and alignment available to you within your system. And I do believe that a good bit of the suffering out there in the world is because we have been misinformed. We have been misled to believe that our healing is outside of us. And that treating the symptoms over and over and over again is going to be the thing that's going to finally heal the root. But my very attitude about life can either heal me or bring me more dis-ease. My perception, my beliefs can either heal me or bring me dis-ease. And so when we talk about affecting the world, I am really just one little thing, one little creature, and I can only do so much. And I've tried. I've tried. I wanted to go save the entire fucking world. And the reality is that when I wanted to do that, I was operating from my own imbalance and my own ignorance of thinking that I could save the world or thinking that I should save the world. In reality, sometimes the most powerful thing that we can do is model a better way of being, a better way of living, a more whole, true, authentic way of being. And these, my friends, are the keys to New Earth. We're talking about a new way of living. We're talking about breaking down structures and systems that are not serving the collective, that are not serving the individuals, right? The individual healing and alignment and self-actualization benefits the collective, because for every one of us that steps out of the cycles of ignorance and density and willful arguing for my limitations, the more expansion we offer to the collective. how to help people if they are afraid of you or choose, or you're afraid of your choice to live that way. If people are afraid of how you're choosing to live, people's fear over how you choose to live is not your responsibility. The reality is, in our ignorance, we think that other people's feelings are our responsibility. Hey, Naomi. In our ignorance, we think that we have the capacity to fix other people. And we don't, because true healing and growth has to be seeded from within us. We can offer the seeds of these things to people, but if they don't want them, they don't have to plant them. Remember, this is why we talk about the guru outside of us and the guru inside of us. I can receive information from external gurus, from external sources, from wise people, from traditions and philosophies and books and classes and experiences. I can gain all of this info from external sources. But what our culture doesn't remind you of or encourage you to do is to use that inner guru. Find the inner guru to then weigh and compare and weigh on your heart this information, so that we can start to distill it into experience, into understanding, so that we can start to integrate it as information, not just stuff we hold up here and that we can recite, but stuff we understand as if we were turning the elephant in all directions. Information is just information until my inner guru transforms it into understanding. If I never tap into my inner guru, then I never bring it into understanding. I'm only a parrot for information. Again, everything that you desire outside of yourself, that you want to experience outside of yourself, is seeded first within yourself. And this comes from someone who ran around for 30 some fucking years trying to find all of my safety, security, love, encouragement, self-esteem, value. I tried to find all of it outside of me. And I spent many years wandering the earth, lost as fuck and frustrated as hell. Feeling like I do so much for the world, but nobody loves me. But I take care of other people and nobody takes care of me. Anybody recognize this conundrum? Anybody else relate to this wandering, looking outside of you, begging, pleading with the universe and other people to give you what you need? Here's a bit of advice, unsolicited or not. Stop. And that's for your benefit. Because when I finally stopped, like I put my foot down and closed my temple doors and was like, okay, 30 some years of this and it's not working. Stop. Desecration conflict. Stop. No, don't make me take out Stewart. Nobody, I don't know if you Gen Zers know about Stewart. Maybe we shouldn't introduce you to Stewart. Stop. No, don't. Let me do it. I can do it. I was that person in, I don't know, whenever it was, when that was really popular, who would go and do that, like, in public. I'd do it in public to people. Stewie. Stewart. Okay, stop. You guys are getting the pirates all excited in here. Okay. Stop. Quit doing the thing. Quit seeking the satisfaction for all of your internal needs outside of yourself. When you put your hat of happiness on something that has legs and its own brain and can wander off, it inevitably at some point will. Especially when you need the hat. And you're like, no, but I really need your love right now. But you don't have control over somebody else. You don't have control, and you shouldn't have control over anybody else. But when I hang my hat of happiness and love and security and success on other external things like the fancy car or the fancy house or any of these things, then I give away my power. Then my happiness is contingent upon that thing. My love is contingent upon that person. My success is contingent upon that external situation, all of which I have no control over. Damn. and it was just a couple years ago, I shut my doors and was like, okay, what do I truly have any sort of control over? And I didn't even have control over myself at that point, right? Right? But that's the only thing that I can really access control, that I can really cultivate control over. But in my ignorance of the intrinsic power available in me, I go scrambling my entire life for other people to give it to me. So much of the suffering in the world is from this place of clamoring for our basic needs to be met and not knowing how to meet them. I like the Naomi. Now I suggest to others who doubt it, do your own research. What I love about the do your own research, my favorite way to say do your own research is to say start with 5 minutes every day. Spend 5 minutes with yourself every day, or 15. When I started, I spent 15. I rolled out my yoga mat every day and I spent 15 minutes on that mat. Now, I didn't do some yoga practice. I mean, at first, I didn't do yoga practices. I didn't meditate. I didn't breathe. Much love to you, Leb. Have a great day. I didn't do any of my fucking practices. I threw tantrums and beat my fists on the ground and kicked and screamed and cried and sobbed and bitched at myself and like all of the things that needed to come up. I sat on that mat for 15 minutes and I just listened. I just held space. And yeah, some days that was easy and some days it was fucking hard because the things that my brain was saying were really, really difficult to hold loving, compassionate space for. Things that I felt like I couldn't forgive myself for. So in those moments, I just gave it whatever I had, which was curiosity. Interesting. Interesting that you're there. Interesting that you have that to say. Interesting that you think I'm such a stupid what have you. Interesting that you think I'm so terrible at picking people in my life. Yeah, that's probably true. Probably not. I don't know. But unless I get underneath that, those fears and that self-talk, unless I hold space for those things, I'm not going to hear the other things underneath. It's like those times where you've got some shitty things to say, right? And you're just chewing on those words. And if you're lucky enough to have a supportive person in your life who's willing to just bear the brunt, right? And hear what you have to say without feeling judged, without feeling like they're, right? Just holding space for you. What do you almost always find underneath the anger and the frustration and the shitty talk? Pain, sadness, shame, fear, right? We find hurt underneath. Fear. My clinic is calling me. Hold on. I don't think I have an appointment with them. Hold on a second. Hold on. No appointment. I don't have an appointment today. I don't know why they're calling me. They can leave me a message. Maybe they got my heart monitor results back. I'll call them back. One of the powerful things about meeting ourselves with curiosity and willingness for just 5 minutes every day or on a daily basis, right? Do your own research. Start with 5 minutes a day, and every single day spend just those 5 minutes being present with yourself and listening to whatever comes up without judgment. You don't have to be compassionate. You don't have to forgive yourself. You can just be curious. Interesting that all of these shitty talk things are coming up. Interesting that there's tension here. Interesting that there's pain here. Interesting that there's fear. Interesting. When I start to do that and give myself that space, at least with the curiosity, hey, Courtney, then I start building a foundation for trust. And that's something that a lot of us lack, especially when we haven't made the best choices in our lives. If you've got that shitty self-talk going on, it's probably partially a lack of trust. Remember that all the layers of myself, all the ego manifestations, all of the defenses, all of the triggers, what are they there for? Are they here to attack me and to fuck up my life and out to get me? No. They are my allies. They are my defenses. In fact, they are my first layer of defense against the world. When my brain is unconscious, when my spirit is still just like a big ball of stardust trying to fit inside of this confined meat bag, my body is keeping me safe to protect me in the places where I felt insecure, where my world told me that I wasn't really safe. And so these defenses manifest in this beautiful way, and they carry me through my life so that I can survive. Thank you. But the thing is when these ego manifestations are created, when these ego frequencies are created, they essentially stay the maturity level that they are created unless we update them. So if you've seen the 50-year-old man who throws a tantrum in the hardware store because he can't find the right bolts or what have you, you go, oh, wow, that trigger, that defense mechanism of not getting your needs met still lives within you and still behaves as if it were that 5-year-old or 6-year-old. That hasn't been updated. It hasn't been informed. But if I go to try to inform or update or change my system with force, by demanding or being mean or pushing past my boundaries over and over and over and over again, am I going to get those defenses to put down their arms? No, I'm probably going to maintain those defenses, ego defenses in my system. Derek Armstrong, how do you come up with this kind of self-made faith? Well, I am an interfaith minister, and I have been an interfaith minister for now a decade. This is my 10th year. And so the faith that I have is through an exploration of many different faiths, coming from a Catholic upbringing, wanting to be a nun and realizing that Catholicism did not speak all truths to me, and I found other truths when I studied Buddhism. And thank you, Carmen, and studied different sections of Christianity, right? And started looking at these differences and all of these things. And for me, it was an exploration, a journey in finding God and finding Christ in all of the different perspectives that are religion. So the focus of my experience is to understand Christ through self, is to understand Buddha through self. And on my journey, I have found that the process of enlightenment is not some sort of like woo-woo thing somewhere really far away. The process of getting into heaven and this kind of stuff isn't somewhere super far away. It's available to me only right here and right now when I choose to be with it. God is not some sky daddy up there that I can't speak to, but instead an energy that flows through my system, that experiences everything I experience. Christ consciousness is not just somebody who lived a super long time ago. Christ is not a somebody who just lived a super long time ago, but Christ consciousness is a state of being that he was teaching us about, just like the Buddha taught us. Just like many other wise individuals have brought enlightenment through their system and modeled it for the rest of us. But the same thing, the same message was that this truth, that God, that source, that the truth, the essence of all of it, of the entire universe, exists within your heart. And we understand this through modern science, through the fact that our energy, our bodies, right, have an energy signature that... Oh, stop, son. Sorry. It's I love you very much. If you have something to say, say it. Do not pace behind the cameras. I completely lose track. What, honey? No, I'm not negotiating with you right now. You can either...
It's not negotiation.
Okay, then what?
It's just something that feels important to me, so we need to come in here for a sec. Okay.
If you want to sit in here quietly, you can sit in here quietly. It's distracting if you're pacing behind the camera.
Okay, well, I'm gonna
Okay. Love you.
Love you too.
Sorry. He was like doing back and forth behind the camera. Okay. Instagram, you seem to have fallen off, so I'm just going to close you out. Instagram doesn't like to go for more than an hour or so. Okay. Our energy field through our modern science. First of all, when the human body dies, everyone loses a small percentage of something, a small percentage of energy that's measurable, that it's the same percentage in every single person, it's the same measurement. They've equated it to something intangible, like life force. What we also understand is that our heart, the defibrillator cells in our heart, beat in a rhythm, and that rhythm creates our finite toroidal field of energy. But we understand that that field of energy, again, has to come from some kind of life force. That life force that flows through us animates that heart, which then creates our toroidal field. This is our interaction with Source. And this is the experience of divinity being manifested into creation. The non-duality that flows through us. Derek, do you know that God says there's only one faith to eternal peace and also leads to immortality? There are some texts, yes, where there are deities that we say that they say that there is only one path. And yet, that's in opposition to all other things in creation. All things in creation have variation, have not just one way to get to the end, but a variety of ways, many paths leading to one outcome. Because we are all unique. And my path, my energy, my life is not going to look or walk exactly like anyone else's. And I'm not designed to do so. None of us are designed to do so. There is judgment and condemnation when we use our beliefs to belittle or condemn others for theirs. And that is not the God or the Christ that I know. I have a deep personal relationship with my experience of Source and my experience of Christ consciousness. And never in those experiences have any of those energies encouraged me to judge anyone else's path, have encouraged me to condemn anyone else's path. In fact, it's what helped me become an interfaith minister, because I recognize that there is value in all paths. And when we recognize the value in all paths, we learn unconditional love. Unconditional love is to not to say, oh yeah, I love you, but I think you're broken and stupid and you're going to end up in hell because you're not following one prescription. I'm sorry, there is ignorance in believing that there is only one way when we have such an array of experience in life. Again, there are as many paths as there are cells in our body, Jeannie Dharma. Thank you. There are as many paths as there are different tiny little frequencies in the universe. Here is my favorite analogy to all of you. Here's my big one. This is my favorite analogy, and this is how I like to model the understanding of the many paths. Okay. Reality is a prism. So again, Derek, you say God says there's only one way. Do you speak directly to God, and this is where you got that message that God told you there was only one way for everyone in the entire universe, and you're supposed to tell them that that's their way? God told you this directly, or did you read in a book that somebody other human wrote? So you're reading their interpretation. I encourage you, if you haven't had a direct communication with Source, that you cultivate that before you start going out and telling everybody else what their relationship with God should look like. So, this prism is creation. is all of creation. The illusion of separation, duality, this experience of being here in a human body and our tangible world that we're in here is the illusion. God, source, is the light, like the light from the sun or the light in the room that casts itself through this prism. What happens when light, source, God, all things in creation, right, the source of all things, shines through this prism? What happens? It fractures into all the colors that make up the whole. You, my friend, are a small piece of a color on a rainbow. That rainbow, when we put all the pieces together, is source, is God itself. So again, it's in our ignorance to say that one color of the rainbow is better than another, and that everyone can only reach back to unity by going on the purple color or on the yellow color. Do you see the ignorance in that? In our believing that only my perspective is valid and true? Because my perspective in and of itself is very limited, is ignorant, and will remain ignorant because I literally cannot perceive beyond my limited perception. So again, it would be in my ignorance that I believe that I have the answer for everyone when I'm not even able to see all the perspectives. I can't, in my lifetime, and I've tried, travel the world and meet every person and see every perspective. It's just not possible. So I must suspend judgment because I cannot know all things. I am ignorant. You are ignorant. And we remain so unless we enlighten our system out of judgment, out of condemnation, out of arrogance. Again, I like to tell the story about my astrology signs, right? My astrology signs being the Virgo. And I feel like the Virgo is a really good manifestation of arrogance. Because she says, and this is, again, I'm not meant on other people, but Virgos, we can muster some arrogance. So the Virgo core of me, in my ignorance, I looked at the world and I said, there must be one right way for everyone. Remember, I was raised Catholic. So I believed that there was one right way for everyone. And I wanted to learn how to teach other people the right way and how to lead them down the right way so they could come home to God, so they could be healed, so there would be no more suffering. And I thought this was the way. As I enlightened my system through experience, that Gemini rising comes in. Gemini is the twins. And Gemini said to Virgo, hey, maybe there's more than one right way. Maybe there's one right way for each person, right? Not one way for everyone, but we're all unique. And so Virgo goes, okay, I can concede to that. I can see that. Yeah, we're all unique and beautiful, and it's a rainbow of experience, right? God is in all things, and all things are of God. So yeah, all right, I'll help everybody find their one right way, right? And then they can find their one right way to enlightenment, all these things. And then my Pisces moon wanders in through further experience and further enlightening of my system and exploring the depths of my shadows. And Pisces reminds me there is no right way or wrong way at all. It's all just a choice. How we choose to see our world, what choices we choose to give ourselves, and what limitations we choose to argue for. If I argue that there is only one way to God, then that is the limitation of my experience. I will only know one way to God. Argue for your limitations, and indeed they are yours. Or be curious and willing to see that maybe, just maybe, you're not the most all-knowing thing in the universe, and just maybe, somebody else's perspective could be valid too. This is when we start to learn and grow. This is when we start to thrive. We do not thrive when we keep ourselves inside of boxes. And the concept of religions that want us to do this is a really good manipulation to keep you inside of ignorance. What happens when you live in ignorance? You're much easier to manipulate and control. because you don't have an internal sense of power. You don't have your everyone has their own way. My experience of moving from Catholicism to becoming an interfaith minister was moving myself from the ignorance that there was only one way to enlightening my system to the understanding that there are many, many, many ways, and we each choose our own way for that reason, for our reasons, right? And that's a valid experience for all. We can also recognize that certain systems, certain structures require certain things. So Western religion, Catholicism, and similar create a very infantile relationship between self and God, because they don't encourage an intrinsic sense of value or an intrinsic strength. They encourage you to source your strength, your faith, love, all these things from someone outside of you. And if you don't do right by that someone outside of you, then you receive punishment for it. So again, am I cultivating an internal locus of control where I decide what's right and wrong because I want to do what's right? Or am I learning to do what's right so that I maybe someday get rewarded? I mean, we can slip into parenting discussion here, because I think a really big thing that we're going to be collectively dealing with is the fact that we have moved our children to a reward and punishment system. So what are we teaching them? What are we encouraging them? We're encouraging them to find their reward outside of themselves. We encourage them to do the right thing only because they're going to get in trouble if they don't, or they're going to get a consequence if they don't. That kind of religious structure does not encourage you to do things because they're the right things to do. They encourage you to do things because you're going to get in trouble if you don't. And that keeps you in a state of kind of immaturity. Because instead of taking the responsibility upon yourself, you need someone else to be telling you what's right and wrong. And again, I went through church. I grew up in church. I understand the need for it for people. I understand the community for it for people. And I'm not condemning it as a bad thing. Just recognize that you choose whatever your experience is. And we can choose to remain in that box, the box of Eden that says, stay inside these parameters, only believe what I tell you to believe. And more so when we get to the sides of religion that says, do not question faith. If you question it, then you're wrong and bad, and then you're not going to get into heaven, right? That's another degree of keeping you ignorant. Don't look outside the box. Stay in here, and maybe someday you'll be rewarded. That's just not the life I want to live. If you want to live that life, you are welcome to live that life. But it's not your job to spend the rest of that life condemning people outside of your box. Stay in your box if you want to. Argue for your limitations. They are yours. Build up your own little heaven or hell as much as you want to. You have that freedom to do so. But recognize that it is ignorance and arrogance that makes us think that our way is the right way, or the only way, or the best way. I wouldn't tell you my way is the best way. Not at all. Not anymore. I used to, in my ignorance, in my imbalance, in my need to siphon energy off of people, I absolutely did use my energy and use my arrogance and use my ignorance to weaponize it and to take energy from people and to let people heal me or make people let me heal them and to make people believe my way is the right way. I wasted so much energy doing that and ultimately led myself away from my own healing. It was only when I stopped doing that bullshit that I was like, oh, wow, there's so much more inside of me that needs to be addressed. I cannot believe that I was poking other people's skeletons in their closet. I got bags of bones in there. Red Mama Yeti, I don't want to argue for my limitations anymore, but damn if the mind doesn't make great excuses. And this is where we re-inform the mind, right? So an example of this is what we've been doing in practices where we pause to experience the self-healing properties of our body, right? My body, by enculturation, by my growing up, by being in this culture that we're in, most of us believe that our bodies don't heal ourselves, right? You have to go to the doctor, you have to take medicine, you have to do exercises, you have to do lots of things for your body to heal itself, right? In general, we all pretty much have that programming. In actuality, your system is self-correcting, is self-aligning. It wants to align and heal and grow and evolve because it's difficult for it to stay in stagnation or in these dense spaces. It's not intended to, and it doesn't want to stay in these dense spaces. So how do I reinform my mind? How do I get it to stop making the excuses or stop telling me, no, it's not going to fucking heal? I find the tiniest little ways to prove it, right? Give it the opportunity. This is when I meet myself with curiosity and willingness. I give my brain the opportunity to rewrite the program. So if, let's say, the limitation I'm arguing for is the fact that my body doesn't heal itself. So every time I do something that causes tension in my system, whether it be a yoga pose or breath work or meditation or a workout, whatever it is, when you complete that practice, or even in the middle of it several times, stop and just be in between the doing. It's in those moments that you can witness the tension unraveling itself from your muscles. The tension in your jaw or in your neck melting into your system. And as you do that, say to your mind, see, look at how beautiful this is. I'm sorry, friend. Again, Aptem Silver, I don't speak the language that you are sharing here, and I don't have a translator, so I apologize if you are asking questions that I cannot answer for you. If you'd like to use Google Translate and give that a shot, if you can understand what I'm saying, that might help. Otherwise, you can try sending me a message, again, translating with Google Translate, but I don't have the capacity here to copy, paste, and translate stuff right now. Although I'd love to hear what you have to say. Everybody is welcome in here. But we've got to agree on some degree of communication, right? There are so many ways that we argue for our limitations. And often we argue for our limitations as soon as we say, I know, then we're also arguing for our limitations. I know. Because to know is a limitation. To know often short circuits my ability to be curious and willing to learn something new. It generates arrogance when I let it. It was only after I stopped weaponizing my energy and my desire to help other people that I truly found my own healing. It was after I stopped believing that it was my job to heal other people that I found my own healing. It was only after I stopped trying to force other people to love me or to take care of me that I started to learn to truly love and value and care for myself. I know you guys have heard these things. And I know at some point they sound trite because they sounded fucking trite as fuck to me. Take deep breaths. Self-care is important. Love yourself. I was the biggest, on manifestation and self-love and all this stuff. I was like, no. If I just do enough, I'll save the world and someday somebody will love me. I'm telling you now, from a place of spending the last couple of years in radical self-love, in radical curiosity and willingness, meeting myself again and again and again, actually meeting myself every day. I didn't realize I didn't trust myself until I started to build trust with myself. I didn't realize how little I valued myself until I really started to value myself. Hey, Universal Earth Angel. Our bodies definitely heal themselves. I stopped using substances to numb over a year ago. Congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. Genie Dharma, limiting something which has limitless expansion potential is actually a crime to life, I say. Yes. And that's just it. This is what I like to think about too. Okay, I want to say this again because I really love it and it's really inspiring and it's something that has helped me a lot in the last couple of years. I used to think that my brain was attacking me. I used to say to people that God or the universe must have it out for me. Someday I'll tell you guys like my life story in like timeline and you'll be like, what the fuck? I met my dad for the first time several years ago. My son was like 3 or something like that when I met him, and he asked me about my life. So I was like, gave him a quick synopsis, on the timeline thing. And at some point he stopped me and he goes, it's like the universe is out to get you. And I go, oh my God, don't say that. Like, I've been trying to change that narrative because that's what it felt like most of my life. My body was against me. My body was my enemy, right? My thoughts and my emotions were leading me astray and fucking up my life. Unconscious programmings were putting me in terrible situations over and over. I did not trust or value my system at all. And most of us operate from this place too, of creating an enemy of ourselves. I can't tell you how freeing it is, how empowering it is to shift that narrative, flip it on its fucking head, and realize that every single bit of your system is supporting your self-actualization, and that the entire universe, the movement of the entire universe is supporting your self-actualization, your healing, your expansion, and your growth. The entire universe is operating on the Fibonacci sequence, which is going out and up. The longer you cling to down and dense, or the longer you hold on to one spot, the more tension you're going to experience because it's the entire universe that's moving. Talk about the flow of life, right? I'm experiencing tension in my life usually because I am resisting the flow of movement. Tension then becomes an opportunity to release, to trust. Every moment of tension in my system is my system saying, hey, I need your attention. Hi, aren't you afraid of burning inside due to frequent practices? Could this be dangerous? No. No, I am not afraid of these practices because I have spent years studying these practices and I am actually trained in these practices. And one of the biggest things that I offer with these practices is that we do not, in this space, create an enemy of ourselves. We do not fight with ourselves. We do not create a battle within ourselves. We recognize that our bodies are self-healing. We recognize that our entire systems support our well-being, and therefore, we meet everything that comes up with curiosity and willingness. When tension arises in my system, I'm curious about it and I'm willing to hear what needs my attention. I'm willing to trust my system to lead me out of ignorance and into enlightenment and into my own healing. I suspend my judgment long enough to cultivate the belief and the understanding that everything in my system is my ally. When I see that, I begin to build trust in a way that develops a profoundly different relationship with yourself than when we do the external stuff, use a lot of force, right? Meditation can be dangerous Yoga can be dangerous. Hell, religious study can be dangerous. Philosophy can be dangerous. I know. I broke some things in my brain early on, and I figured out how to repair it. But excess can be dangerous. So how do we avoid excess? By learning to listen to our systems, what our systems need, and learning to respect the boundaries within our systems. Learning to cultivate presence and inner power rather than using force on our systems. So in any of the practices that I teach in here, or any of the things that we're doing in here, if you find pain, stop. If the tension becomes too much and your system is like, whoa, stop. You're never going to get your body or your mind or your ego to put down their defenses if you come in like this. I'm going to punch my third eye open. I'm going to rip my chakras clear. I'm going to amputate my ego. Whoa. You're going to get your system to respond with every bit of defense that it has. Because your system's trying to protect you. And always has been. And if you come in as an enemy, your system's not going to let you in. And honestly, in some ways, we can absolutely lead ourselves into a kind of psychosis and into deep imbalances when we use mindfulness practices to attack, force, and hurt the body and the ego and the self. Look, when you're building a house, you got to use hammer and nails. When you're building muscle, you got to use weights, tension and release. That's tangible, external world, hard matter shit. Dense shit. When you're on in the internal space, this is not the space to come in like this, to go in swinging and screaming. When we approach like this, with humility, we have the opportunity to receive. When we come in like this, with arrogance or force, we have no opportunity to receive anything. My fists are closed and tight, and I'm holding on to my ignorance. Every time I do this, I am grasping my ignorance. Every time I do this, I am inviting enlightenment. Genie Dharma. In the Shakta tradition, we call it Parashakta, with Shakti, Parashakti, which is constantly working towards our spiritual evolution. Parashakti, the play of the divine feminine. Yes. That's why another reason I like this mudra again this week is that it offers up the merit of all of our work to the benefit of the collective, right? In that same way. And it's a very through the mother, through the divine feminine, right? So let me offer the mudra again. The mudra is the Nirvana Mudra, and it is done like so. Extend your hands out and bring your palms, crossing your right wrist over the left. Bring the palms together. Interlace your fingers, keeping your pointer and your thumb extended. And then scoop this in, curving it in towards your chest. As you do so, what are you doing? Collecting the merit of your work. Whether it be your practice, or whether it be yoga, meditation, mantra, whatever it is, we collect it all, and then we bring it up to the third eye, touch the pointers to the third eye, and we offer it up for the spiritual benefit of all beings. And I find myself, when I practice this mudra, I tend to offer the same that I do in my sadhana, for the spiritual benefit of all beings. Jai Ma, Jai Ma, Jai Ma. There's a mantra that comes with this mudra too, and it's the Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, which just means, may all beings everywhere be happy, peace, peace, peace. That energy, that nourishing energy, right? That mother, universal mother energy. Mothers, right, are nourishing, holding space for us, holding us warm and comfortable and safe, all wrapped up, right, in that space of mother. They also let us fall. They also let us climb really high and get scared. They also let us experience natural consequences for the choices that we make, and they remain Mother, Shakti, CAYA, Kuan Yin, Kalima. They all wait for your surrender. You want to receive the nourishment and love from the universe? Try sinking into that lunar energy, that pelvic floor energy, that nourishing womb energy. As you guys know, I write stories. I'm a storyteller. And I wrote a story about finding hope, finding that feminine energy, that nourishing feminine energy that I can surrender to. And a lot like my captain, when I did the exploration of finding my captain, my higher self guide self, when I found hope, she was waiting for me. In my deepest, darkest moments of listlessness, I don't even want to call it surrender, because it was surrender, but it was a kind of fuck it. Someday I'll read that story for you guys. But when I found hope, she was waiting. She was waiting behind my fear. She was waiting behind my anger. She was waiting behind any of my needs, even. As I went wandering the world looking for hope, trying to get all my needs met out here, she was sitting right behind me, waiting for me to fall back into her arms. This is what hope feels like. This is what that feminine energy feels like. We sink back into it and surrender and allow all of the tension to melt away as we sink deeper into the knowing that we are safe, that we are nourished, that we are supported and grounded. And then when we wake from this place, that solar energy leads us forward, and then we move through interacting our doing parts of life. And then we sink back into be. Many of us experiencing pain and suffering in our lives because we spend so much of our lives going do 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 do, and forget to honor the great feminine, the divine feminine that's available within all of our systems. And what happens when I constantly keep my system like this? I experience imbalance. I perpetuate my imbalance. Just like in yoga, where we balance our poses, right? If I'm doing an extension this way, I'm also going to do an extension this way. If I go this side, I'm also going to go that side. But energetically, we go through our lives going this, and forget to do this. Everything has an ebb and a flow, and everything in the universe is supporting your self-actualization. Before I close, I'll offer one of my favorite stories. And this one is by Richard Bach, and it's in his book, Illusions. It's the first little story he wrote in the book, Illusions. I might read Illusions again soon because it's such a beautiful book. And if you haven't read it, I encourage you to go read it. If you want to wait for me to read it, poke me about it and I will read it. Okay, so he says that there is this river. There is this river, and at the bottom of this river are all of these little tiny creatures. And they cling to the rocks, to the reeds, to the bottom of the river, right? Anything they can. They cling to each other, even as the river roars over them, right? And they spend their entire lives doing this. They spend their entire lives holding tightly on as much as they can to resist the flow of the river, and holding and clinging onto each other, and they beg each other, don't let go, just hold on a little longer, hold on a little longer, hold on a little longer, until somebody slips off. And what happens as soon as they slip off, but they're like rolled along the bottom of the river, right? And carried off out of sight. And so all of these little clinging creatures will go on and tell these stories every generation of like, you do not let go, because what happens when you get let go is you get smashed on the rocks and you disappear. And that's all they know. When you let go, when you slip off, you get smashed on the rocks and disappear. Every once in a while, there's that one that while everybody else is clinging in desperation, this fucking curious little creature says, but what if there's more? But what if I let go and yeah, I hit the rocks, but what if I end up somewhere else? But what if I don't hit the rocks? But what if I float? But what if? And everyone around them says, stop with your what ifs. Stop with your wondering. Stop with your questioning. Stop with your curiosity. It's going to get you killed. No, stop. There is nothing else. We already know what it is. You get hit on the rocks and you disappear. And this one goes, yeah, but the river seems to be coming from somewhere, and the river seems to be knowing where it's going, and it's constantly going in that direction. I've got to know. I've got to know where it goes. Don't let go. Don't let go. Please don't let go, they say. Please don't fucking let go. Not, especially not of your own, like willingly. Please don't let go. You'll die. And that little one finally says, clinging, surely I will die. This way. At least there's a chance of something else. And he lets go. And immediately hits the rocks. And the river takes him out of sight. And the ones remaining lament and cry and grieve that loss. But this little one, after a couple of rocks, the current of the river lifts it up above the rocks and above the reeds, and it begins to float in some in-between space in the buoyancy of the river. And now, with ease, no tension at all, it is floating down this river. For the first time in its life, there is no tension anywhere in its system. And there is a kind of buoyancy in its heart that it has never experienced before. A kind of joy, a kind of expansion, a kind of experience that is indescribable. So as the river carries this one down the river, of course, it runs across other creatures clinging to the bottom and the reeds and the rocks and the sides. And it says, let go. Look, I'm proof. If you let go, you can float too. Let the tension go. Let the clinging go. Let the fear go. Let go. And they look upon this one and they say, oh, great enlightened ones, Messiah, oh, special, you're so unique, we could never be like you, you're so special. We'll just, we end up telling stories. That one goes through the river and continues with the river of life, and we stay clinging, the rest stay clinging to the bottom of the river, telling stories for generations about the one special one that floated by. Of course, they couldn't do that, because if they let go, they get hit on the rocks, right? And disappear. In our ignorance, we argue for our limitations, sometimes our entire life long. And even when we see others letting go, enlightening their systems, creating space, finding joy, flexibility, movement, flow, maybe we just think that they're special and that we'll never be able to do that at all, and other ones will condemn it. Others, we will look at that one and say, no, you fucked up. You're supposed to be clinging on the bottom. So when anyone tells you to keep clinging on the bottom, let them keep their limitations. Don't make them your limitations unless you really want to. And you can cling to the bottom of the river as long as you want. It's your experience, it's your life. They can cling to the bottom as long as they want. But know that that flow of the river will always be available to you, always be there waiting for you to trust, or at least just be fucking brazen enough to say, fuck it, I'll try. Let me let go of judgment. Let me let go of fear. Let me let go of shame, of doubt, of apprehension. Let me let go. Show me how to let go. Teach me to let go, to not cling every single time I experience fear. Every single time that pain comes up like a wave through my system, give me the courage to exhale and release it instead of holding on and clinging to it for desperation. The natural state of my system is open, relaxed, and fluid. When I become rigid or inflexible, that flow of life starts to hit me. Life is either happening to me or flowing through me. And Cheesy Rat, you say, I want to let go. How do we do that? How do we let go in some grand sweeping gesture? I love the story, but that story is a grand sweeping gesture of letting go, isn't it? So how do we do that in real time? What does that really mean as a human? That's a great analogy, cute little story, but what does that actually fucking mean, Deb? In every single tiny moment that you find tension, give it your attention. And then invite it to leave whenever it's ready. There's two parts. When we find tension, we don't push it away immediately, because what if happens and I push is force. Force creates more tension. And if I'm trying to push force away, use tension with tension, fight fire with fire, what's going to happen? A wildfire. So when I find tension in my system, I don't meet it with more tension. I meet it with my attention, and I maintain the intention to meet it with to be curious and willing. When I can meet it that way, it has the freedom to move as it needs to move. Sometimes that's anger, sometimes that's sadness. Whoa, my whole system can fill with it, yes, feel with it and fill with it and vibrate with whatever it is that's going through me. And I can just hold space. Whoa, sadness. Oh, fear. Wait, where am I again? Here and now. How does my left pinky finger feel? How does my right big toe feel? What do the sounds in the room around me sound like? How does my breath feel? What does my heartbeat sound like? How many colors can I perceive around me? Now I am here. Now I am now. Now I am present. Present with my intention and my attention. And tension melts away. When I align my intention and my attention, tension melts away. Universal Earth Angel, I went into hermit mode to get away from others' beliefs so I could just incorporate all of me. I had to go into the same. I called that closing my temple doors. And I did it pretty solidly for about a year and a half maybe. And then I started teaching online. This has been my experiment, right, in opening myself up and being vulnerable and sharing these things, because they have literally actually changed my life and healed me in ways that were so unexpected. And actually way quicker than I ever assumed it would be. And all of my worrying and clamoring about how I was not on time or not in the right time or late and not doing it fast enough, not working hard enough, and all that stuff became null and void. Because through these practices, I have learned to experience time and space in a different way. That's autonomy. That's autonomy. Red Mama Yeti, I was overloaded with sadness last night from just wanting to veg out and not playing with my boy. So much guilt. I tried to sit with it. Mama to mama. I have my me time every evening, and my son really struggles with it. Partially because at that time he kind of wants to just, sit and chatter with me, or wants me to watch a show with him and stuff like that. And that's a lot of times my meditation time. And having a previous pattern of not holding my own boundaries, not respecting my own space, not valuing my own time, I almost always would drop my time for somebody else. What these last several years have taught me is that even if I just take 5 minutes a day, it's imperative that I take time to myself to veg out, or to dissociate, or to just meditate, or whatever it is my system needs. Some days it's a meditation. Some days it's a tantrum. Some days I'm like, you know what, system, you can just check out. It's okay. I need to be curious about what my system needs, and I'd be willing to create the space for it. Cheesy Rat, you want to let go of your twin flame, you're struggling. I need to dump all the content on my phone so that I can make you the video I promised I would make you. I have the note for it here. I just need to dump the content on my phone, and it's hard to do because it takes like 7 hours for my phone to do it. So I'm going to try to do it today, so that I can make a couple of videos. One, a cord cutting ceremony video for you. What's the other one? The paper attract or repel. And then I was going to show you guys the house blessing and how to smudge your space with mudras. Universal Earth Angel, I'm experiencing what seems like slowing down time to a standstill. It started by staring at the moon. Do you know what that means? Our experiences are uniquely our own, right? So I don't try to interpret people's energy or the people's experiences. It's more important what your system interprets it as. However, time and space are relative. So when you start to use mindfulness practices that bring you distinctly into the present moment, you are going to experience your quality of space and time changing in general. Just like when you focus on your third eye and you clear your third eye channel, you're going to experience general increase in intuitive and communicative sort of stuff with your body, with your higher conscious, with your dreams, with your guides, all that kind of stuff. So if this experience is coming through your time with the moon, that is lunar energy. That is exploring the shadow aspects of self too. And just with your awareness and attention, you may be experiencing, you may be accessing that level of mindfulness where we can change the quality of space and time, right? And that's just a cool experience. Again, I really try to focus, like there's so many things that we can get from meditation. There's so many things that we can get, like cool experiences and getting psychic powers and being able to levitate or warm a blanket in the snow or become psychic or whatever these cool things that we really want to access with these to some degree, that ego really wants to access with these. Ego also wants to explain away and to understand why all of the things happen and wants all the information. The information is not always important. When we just focus on holding space for the experience, we give our system the opportunity to integrate it into understanding. And there may be things that our brain does not need to be involved in. There may be something that you are experiencing and wiring into your brain, into your body, into your physiology by doing this practice, whatever it is that's offering this to you. So I say, stay present with it. Just stay present with it. Be curious about it. And as long as it feels good, keep exploring it. There may be some depth that you will reach, and only then will you go, oh, that's what all this has meant. But you may miss the experience by trying to find the why, by trying to engage the brain in thinking about it, intellectualizing it. Let's be in it. So much of what we need to do is actually reinforming our bodies, and our brains will follow. Give our systems an opportunity, right? To realign, to heal, to do what it does, because my system is my ally, my ego is my ally, and every piece of me is leading me towards my self-actualization. The universe itself is supporting my self-actualization and leading me through the path of least resistance unless I'm creating resistance. It's most often me creating resistance in my life, whether out of ignorance or arrogance or some kind of imbalance. Some things can't be explained. It's just to be in the moment and experiencing. I had a thing the other night. I told you guys about it, right? Which I had a funny reaction to it. I was sitting outside staring at the stars, as I do pretty much every single night. It's a regular thing. I'm looking for aliens, hoping they will come come pick me up. No, I'm looking for shooting stars and just generally falling in love with the constellations and the stars and the movement of my sky. The other night, I was sitting outside, kind of in my space, in my headspace, and a little bit frustrated trying to work through something, trying to look for guidance for something, and I wasn't really getting anywhere and just feeling really frustrated. So I literally knocked on the sky. I looked up and was like, okay, God. And out of one of the constellations, a burst of light erupted. It wasn't huge. It was probably about the size of my thumb. If I had held my thumb up to the sky, it would have been that size. But it was yellow with another little oranger layer on the center. It was definitely two distinct colors and went poof, poof, and disappeared. In that moment, I didn't ask for anything particular. I didn't get any particular answer. I was just feeling frustrated and spoke it to the sky. And the reaction was this really cool burst of light. What does it mean? I don't know. Who was it? Was it God? Was it my higher self? Was it something else? I don't know. Was it what were we saying it was? Oh, Leb's not in here anymore. Apparently that constellation, they actually are waiting for a supernova to happen in that constellation, but I looked it up and it hasn't happened yet. So maybe it was a supernova. I don't know. But I don't know is okay. Because what I received in that moment was the experience of being interconnected. And that's all. Oftentimes, that's why I look for shooting stars. It's the reminder that there is something much more expansive. There are things that I don't need to answer. There are questions that I don't need to know the answers to in the universe, and that's okay. Rebecca, do I do energy readings? Yes, I do. The best way to get energy readings is to message me. I do distance energy work. I do not do it through the screen. So I do energy work, but I set up coaching sessions for those, right? So we don't do it through a screen. If you're in person here in Oregon, we can do in person. Otherwise, it's just distance, but I don't do them through the screen. So send me a message